all yours.
It is a hot one today, and sadly we don't have any thunderstorms out there cooling us down. Viper 13 real-time radar generally dry. We've had a few isolated showers here or there, one of them right now up in Scotland County, but most of us are going to miss out on any rain. We will likely stay dry this evening and overnight tonight. Temperatures right now in the 90s, upper 90s across parts of the PD. Heat index values high as well, and that's leading to the heat warning and heat advisories area wide. It is going to be just as hot for tomorrow. For tonight, partly cloudy, warm and muggy, 70s to around 80, and then back in the 90s to around 100 tomorrow. I'll have a look at how long this hot weather is going to last coming up.
Coverage you can count on at 5 starts now.
Right now on News 13 at 5, we'll have a live report from North Myrtle Beach after an RV fire damaged several vehicles and killed a pet.
And we'll look at new changes announced from Duke Energy that will help residents in the PD.
The president praises the NATO summit in Turkey as he threatens more strikes in Iran. I'm Nana Saintio Bonsu with why he says the ceasefire is over.
Thanks for joining us for News 13 at 5. I'm Adriana Lawrence.
And I'm Annette Pegler. A North Myrtle Beach mechanic is cleaning up after an early morning fire destroyed his motorhome, damaged his shop, and left several vehicles ruined.
Well, everyone thankfully made it out safely. One beloved pet did not survive. News 13's Morgan Baker is live in North Myrtle Beach. And Morgan, what can you tell us?
Annette, Adriana, I spoke with witnesses who say they could feel the heat from the fire even across the street. Take a look at this video of the fire as North Myrtle Beach Fire Department responded to the area of Madison Drive and 16th Avenue South this morning. The department says the fire started in the motorhome and also damaged 5 vehicles and a mechanic's shop. No one was hurt, but one dog died. I spoke with the mechanic who owns the shop and lived in the motorhome. He did not wish to go on camera, but says he believes the fire could have been electrical and says it caught very fast. He says his first priority was getting his pets out as he has 2 other dogs who made it out safely. He says his shop will stay open. I spoke with a witness on vacation who saw the whole thing.
About 6:30 this morning, thought the phone was on vibrating going off, and it was actually the fire trucks using, I guess, some type of horn to alert the firefighters. Came outside, the camper was fully engulfed. We could tell a couple cars were on fire. The heat from it was tremendous. We're about 50 yards from it, and it was pretty hot.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. At 6, I'll have more from witnesses on just how hot the flames from the fire were. Reporting live in North Myrtle Beach, Morgan Baker, News 13.
Morgan, thank you. In Horry County, 4 people are in the hospital after a car caught fire in a crash overnight in Loris. Horry County Fire Rescue were called to the area of Green Sea Road and Highway 67 at 9:30 last night. They say it was a 2-car crash and one of the vehicles was on fire. They were able to put out that fire and 4 people were taken to the hospital, but no word right now on the extent of their injuries. Highway Patrol is investigating.
Crews in Georgetown began dredging the harbor yesterday, working to reduce channel depths, making it easier for boaters to get around. Sand and silt has accumulated in the area, reducing channel depths to less than 5 feet in many critical areas. This dredging project will work to restore channels to a 12-foot depth, allowing larger vessels to get through. It's part of Georgetown Port's master plan to bring more ships to the harbor, which would in turn bring new business to Georgetown.
Right now there are some areas that the depth has gotten very, very low. At low tide you might only have like 2 or 3 feet of water, so it's bringing that back down and giving us a good navigable channel again, and hopefully we can keep it open and maybe we get some businesses back over here that can use the channel with barges to ship products out of Georgetown.
The project is expected to take 3 months to complete.
Well, Duke Energy is working to upgrade their energy grid to strengthen it against outages from severe weather, among other things. They are expanding their self-healing technology, which automatically detects outages and reroutes electricity in seconds to restore power faster for customers. News 13 spoke with Duke Energy today about how this will keep major problems in the area to a minimum.
Our self-healing technology will quickly detect outages, reroute that power to lessen the outage time for our customers, and sometimes even avoid an outage altogether.
Do that. Nearly 75% of Duke Energy customers in the PD region are served by self-healing technology.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
And traffic not too bad right now on 501 between CCU and Carolina Forest. Just the occasional slowdown at the traffic lights. 544 looking okay as well. Drive times along the Grand Strand on 501 from CCU to Carolina Forest. That'll take 16 minutes. 17 in both directions along the Grand Strand. That's still moving slower than normal. Florence area looking okay. No issues in town right now. I-95 moving along nicely. Currently on 95 from TV Road to 76. That'll take 10 minutes. Palmetto from 5 Points to Irby Street will take 5 minutes. And 52 from Palmetto to I-95 will take 8 minutes.
Frank, thank you. President Trump has wrapped up what he called a very successful NATO summit in Turkey. During meetings today in Ankara, the president warned that the U.S. would likely launch more strikes against Iran tonight.
And he also pledged more support for Ukraine in its war against Russia. Nana St. has the latest from the White House.
Despite recent tensions, President Trump called the NATO summit in Turkey tremendously successful, adding that member nations of the alliance were making progress towards increasing their defense spending.
The unity in that room was incredible. There was a love in that room that was great.
But the president had much harsher words for the leaders of Iran as he threatened additional strikes following Tuesday night's exchange of fire.
They're cuckoo. There's something wrong with these people.
The president said he considers the ceasefire with Iran over after Tehran targeted tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says American forces hit more than 80 Iranian targets. Iran says it launched attacks on U.S. military facilities in retaliation.
President Trump said he's not sure he wants to make a deal anymore with Iran and claims that he is at the top of Iran's kill list.
I'm their number one target. It's out all over the place. I'm their number one because they're scum. That's the way they act, and that's the way they've done it for 47 years. But I'm doing what's right for the country. I'm doing really what's right for the world.
During the summit, President Trump also met with Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, and pledged to allow Ukraine to build its own Patriot missile interceptors to defend against Russian attacks.
We're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right? This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough.
And in a bit of a surprise, President Trump left Turkey on an old Air Force One plane. He said the reason was to send the new luxury jet to a base in the United Kingdom so U.S. service members can check out the new version, which was a gift from Qatar. Nana St. CBS News, the White House.
The president is flying to the same base in the United Kingdom and then is expected aboard the new Air Force One for the flight back to the United States.
A former Bucknell University coach is facing criminal charges, including aggravated hazing linked to the death of a student athlete. Prosecutors say Coach Mark Kolbis knew student athlete CJ Dickey had a sickle cell condition that can cause potentially fatal muscle breakdown during intense physical activity. State prosecutors claim back in July of 2024, Kolbis subjected Dickey and other players to extraneous calisthenic exercises, including 100 up-downs, and failed to call for help until Dickey, who had been visibly struggling, passed out.
This is an opportunity for education and awareness. It's also an opportunity for programs to self-reflect. This is not the time for silence. I do not want to see another CJ.
The Dickey family has also filed a separate civil lawsuit against Bucknell. Last April, in a statement, Kolbis's attorney said the coach was not responsible for Dickey's death, adding that the strength and conditioning program was in accordance with Kolbis's training and within applicable standards.
Officials in New York City say a skyscraper near Grand Central Terminal that was in danger of collapse is now stable. Reports of falling bricks and buckling beams inside the 37-story high-rise triggered mass evacuations of surrounding buildings yesterday. Overnight, emergency crews worked quickly to install new steel to shore up weak points and prevent a potential disaster. The Department of Buildings commissioner says the city is keeping a close eye on the high-rise while contractors work on a long-term solution.
We have monitoring positions set up outside and inside the building that's allowing us to track the situation, and if there is any movement or if we sense any movement, we have protocols in place to make sure we're quickly removing people.
The building's developer, Metro Loft, says additional floors being added to the skyscraper caused the beams to bend.
Well, Maine Senate nominee Graham Plattner faces new sexual misconduct allegations and a wall of opposition from fellow Democrats. They are calling on him to drop out of that race. Plattner is also accused of interfering with the process of choosing a replacement. Caitlin Huey-Burns has more from Maine.
Graham Plattner is still holding on in Maine's U.S. Senate race despite mounting allegations of sexual and physical abuse and growing calls for him to step aside.
It terrifies me to think of him having any type of power politically, because what is he going to do with the women in his office?
Lindsay Fifield, who says she dated Plattner more than a decade ago, told the Washington Post he had repeatedly removed condoms without her consent while the two had sex. She had previously told the New York Times Plattner had gotten rough with her and spoke about it to CNN Tuesday.
It was domestic abuse.
All of this comes just one day after another woman, Jenny Rassicot, came forward to Politico accusing Plattner of rape. Plattner has categorically denied both women's allegations. He has now lost nearly all of his big-name supporters, like Senator Bernie Sanders, who just a month ago had this to say.
Graham Plattner is running an extraordinarily strong campaign.
But now Sanders is joining the chorus of Democrats urging Plattner to step aside. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who had preferred more moderate candidate Governor Janet Mills in the primary, blamed progressives.
They pushed out and rejected, their sitting governor, an absolute committed Democrat. It wasn't that long. She was celebrated within our party.
Now, some Democratic voters here say they're concerned about whether the party still has a chance to flip the seat held by longtime Republican incumbent Susan Collins.
I just feel like the odds of him being able to beat her are a lot less, and I feel like for the people of Maine, the right thing to do is to drop out.
And Plattner has until Monday to withdraw from the race so that the Maine Democratic Party can pick his replacement. And party officials here say that Plattner will have no role in determining who that will be or what the process will look like. Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Bangor, Maine.
Dangerous heat across the area today. Heat index values topping 100 degrees. I'll have a look at how long this hot weather is going to last coming up.